All right, and we're back for another episode of the Department Podcast with Justin Valentovic, Stephen Clark, Jesse Norman, and Stephen Bologna. And we are back to give week 13, right? 13 of the NFL season, our picks and predictions for this upcoming week. Hopefully it's not as much of a hell on earth shit show as week 12 was, quite frankly, because that was a complete and utter disaster. But we have 2 Monday night games, so that's pretty cool. And I think we have a Tuesday game as of right now, which is awesome. And we might get to the point where we might see football every day of the week, but hope to God we don't, because if we do, then COVID is a major problem. But nonetheless, guys, what's going on?
I was just doing a breakdown of the Russell Westbrook John Wall trade before this, tallying up wins and losses. So I'm doing pretty good. As the Washington Wizards are about my 6th favorite team in the Eastern Conference.
The Wizards got the better end of that deal. If we're being honest,
the better end of the deal. Yeah, no,
granted, if you're paying to a player, $120 million over 3 years, I'd rather them at least be healthy,
rather than be able to play.
So what happened to that whole conversation of Justin becoming a Nets fan? Is that just gone now?
Oh, that's gone. Yeah, this is
just gone unless
reinjected.
Beal still demands that trade.
Unless he gets traded to the Nets. If Beal gets sent anywhere else, I'll stay with the Wizards. If he goes to the Nets, I'll go back to the Nets because that's the team I grew up watching.
You're gonna leave Russ?
No, but that's why I'm reinvigorated and interested and actually care about the Wizards now, because we'll have a point guard who will actually be healthy and play, and I will be unbearable for them just to get the 7th seed. But Scott Brooks Scott Brooks and Russell Westbrook are back together. So hey, what could go wrong?
Monumental.
Everything.
That's what
I heard. KD's coming next.
Yeah, we got the wrong OKC Thunder MVP to come to DC.
People are going to be mad confused listening to the first 2 minutes of this podcast. Like, wait a second.
Oh yeah, we took a hard left from picks to basketball. But let's get into some picks. We do a draft style, and I don't know who to start with. So let's go with Bologna.
Thank God, I did not have one in mind.
I thought you were going to say Steve, and then I would have been confused on who to go with. Okay. So Justin, before you delete it, let me get a look here.
Leave it for a little bit.
Fine.
Okay. I'm starting off with a bang here. My opinion, best game of the week. Justin and Clark, you saw them last week. Cleveland Browns versus the Tennessee Titans. Titans are -6. Over/under is 54. This is a battle of 2 8-3 teams, and it's a little confusing to me as to why the spread would be so far. I'll tell you what, I really, really wanted to say Titans win this one easily, but Cleveland's looked pretty solid recently. I do think in the end that the Tennessee will come out with the victory. I think the way they played against the Colts, I know the Colts were a little banged up, but they played really good football. Derrick Henry is at this point now in the season where he's just unstoppable, and I think all things just go right for them on Sunday.
Yeah, 6.5. I think if they didn't completely dominate the Colts last week, it wouldn't be 6. But they're still favored.
Probably be 3.5.
I still think they win, but I don't think they cover. I think the Browns at least stay in it a little bit. I don't think the Titans utterly run away with it, though. I think it'll be a shootout and it'll be a high-scoring game, but I think they keep it within the 6.
I think so.
One thing, I think you absolutely have to take the over on this game. The Browns' defense is not good. It's not good. They let up a lot of points. Tennessee is going to they play a similar style to Cleveland, but they just play it better. And they're going to drag them down. I like the Titans here. I think I might even like them at -6 because I don't think the Browns are that good of a team. We've seen how the Eagles, Jaguars, and Texans kept it so close. This is by far the weakest 8-3 team. The last good team they played was the Raiders, and they got destroyed.
Yeah, no, I can't disagree with any of you guys there. Browns are imposters. They're not as good as they look. Titans are insane. Derrick Henry's a monster. He's got to run down Myles Garrett's throat and call it a day. Titans, baby.
And with that, Clark, we'll keep it with you.
Ooh, fun. Let's see. I had one in mind. All right. I'm going with the Cardinals and the Rams. Okay. 2 teams that are in the same division, a divisional matchup to begin with. 2 teams that Justin, do not delete it yet. I'm still looking at it. 2 teams that are in the same division, very even teams in a way, both very good teams. Cardinals +3 though. They're favoring the Rams in this one. I don't know. I feel like it's a bounce back game from Arizona. It's just They're a really good football team, so I would take the Cardinals +3 and the over. I go with the over 48 too.
This is a get right game for the Cardinals because
yes,
they've kind of hit a skid a little bit, but also to get right against the Rams is a little bit of a tall task. And it's going to come down to how well can Jalen Ramsey clamp up and slow down DeAndre Hopkins. And
no, you're right.
And it also depends on how well they'll be able to contain Kyler Murray in the run game. And if it comes down to those two aspects of it, if Aaron Donald has a day and at least makes it hard enough for Kyler Murray to run, it would be the Rams all day. But at the same time, I don't know if they necessarily can because they have a lot of fiber. And the teams, they're on the same par, right? The defensively, though, the Rams are far and away the better team. But offensively, they're very similar. I'm definitely taking the over in this one. Even though it's 48.5, I'm still taking that because it's going to be the shootout again. But
definitely.
I don't know how I feel about this because I don't know how I feel about either team. Arizona's been skidding. LA has this habit of getting wins that they do just enough in. I would honestly stay away from it. I don't know if I'd bet the over under because as soon as I say like the over, I would just have this feeling that somehow it'd become a defensive battle of like 17-14. This is too close of a divisional game where I don't know what I'm getting out of both teams. So I think I'd stay away.
Yeah, I mean, if you asked me this question 2 weeks ago, I would say the Rams because they were rolling, and then they take a pretty much big upset loss to the Niners last week. So it's kind of up in the air. I think the X factor here is Kyler Murray's legs. How well, because if DeAndre Hopkins does get clamped up, which honestly, there's probably a very good chance he does. I mean, DK Metcalf's having arguably the best wide receiver season this year, and Ramsey held him to 2 for 21. So if I did have to pick, I think the Cardinals do pull it out with the over, but I'm not going to take the spread in this one.
All right, and with that, we're going to move things along to me, and we'll knock out half of this podcast's favorite teams.
Oh,
I'm going Monday night. The Washington football team coming off a pretty convincing win on Thanksgiving.
Dominant.
And then technically a win for a Thanksgiving game of the Pittsburgh Steelers, who are now, what are they, 12-0, 11-0? 11? 11-0.
11-0.
Oof. Pittsburgh's favored by 9.5.
Yo.
Give me that all day. No offense, Steve, but
I don't know if I like Pittsburgh 9.5.
I don't like it 9.5.
They're playing on a short week. Washington's got a good enough defense. I think Pittsburgh pulls it out, but I think it's going to be like 19-14.
Me too.
I don't like this. I don't like this game.
Very, very close. Like you said, Jesse, Washington with over a week and a half basically of rest, and Pittsburgh coming off the very, very short week. It's just, and like you said too, the football team's been playing really, really good. They dominated the Cowboys, and they're doing what they have to do. They're a monster, and they're doing what they have to do.
They're a scrappy little competitive team. Ron Rivera has done what we expected Ron Rivera to do, which was finally give them some semblance of organization and a direction of which way to go and an identity of how they want to play football, which is get pass rush up front. They have a great young defensive line and use Antonio Gibson and have Alex Smith manage the game just enough not to screw it up and turn the ball over. And that's what they're doing, and it's working.
Yeah.
I agree. One thing that I really do like about the Steelers in this game, though, is Washington needs to set their run up. Well, Washington needs to set their run up most of the time to be a good team. Pittsburgh has the best run defense in the league. And they have probably what I would argue is the best front line in the league right now. So they can get pressure on Alex Smith. They can make the Washington football team abandon the run early. If that happens, I like Pittsburgh. But with them only having like 5 days off and having almost no time to prep for this, while Washington has had over a week to prep. Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is a game that the Pittsburgh Steelers might take a little lightly, too. They might get themselves a little behind in the game, too. Might have to have a little comeback win. But, yeah, I'm still going to take the Steelers to win, though.
Bologna, what do you think?
I got a stat for you, Justin.
Oh, boy.
Washington is 5-0 this season when they carry the ball over 30 times. And they're 0-7 when they don't carry the ball over 30 times. The issue is in this game is you're going up against a very stout defensive line, and if you're forcing Alex Smith to throw the ball, I have no confidence in him. He's going to turn the ball over. TJ Watt's going to be coming for him the entire game.
Testing the leg out.
Great.
If TJ Watt like takes over this game and gets like 2.5 sacks, like he might be locking up Defensive Player of the Year in my mind, at least.
Yeah,
because
I
he is taken over games this year. I seen a
It's
PFF
what JJ
stat.
Watt was
He
in his
wins
prime.
when TJ Watt goes for a blitz and goes at the quarterback and has like one tackle to beat. His success rate is 33%. 1 out of every 3 downs, he beats the guy in front of him.
Wow.
To get to the quarterback.
Yeah.
Insane.
And another factor in this game is that Big Ben obviously is one of the hardest quarterbacks to take down, both physically and that he always has a good offensive line against him. And I don't know if Washington can really get to him fast enough before the secondary can hold up these receivers. So I hate to say it, but I think the Steelers do win this one. I think Washington does keep it close, but I think the Steelers are just overall a much better team, and I just don't trust Alex Smith.
Yeah, Pittsburgh's significantly better, but Washington, they're showing signs. They have some nice pieces. They have nice pieces. If they play competitive, it's a moral victory at that point if they don't get blown out. But with that, we're on to Jesse.
All right. The Philadelphia Eagles and the Green Bay Packers. Packers are favored by 7. As far as I'm concerned, they should be so much higher. I would start the spread at 10. And at the very least, I would take 8. I would not say just 7 as a touchdown. I think the Packers are way, way better than just a touchdown over the Eagles. The Eagles are not a good team. Most people don't even realize the Eagles wouldn't have covered the spread against Seattle if not for that Hail Mary touchdown. That game was further than it actually was supposed to be. And week in, week out, I would argue the Packers are a better team than the Seahawks. I think the Seahawks have the higher ceiling. I think there's some weeks that they play better, but week in, week out, you got to go with the Packers here. And at -7, I would easily take it.
It's hard to bet against the Packers on a week-to-week basis. They're just consistently dominant, consistently putting points on the board. They don't mainly have bad games, and when they have bad games, they barely lose those bad games. So easy Packers, easy, very easy.
Yeah, the Eagles are just broken. There's just nothing else to say about it. They're a bad team that has no idea what's going on, and they're just a sinking ship at this point. They're the Titanic after it hit the iceberg and split, and it's already at the bottom of the ocean. There's no recovering it. There's nothing else they can do at this point. But
put in Jalen Hurts. That's what you can do.
And Jalen Hurts.
But do you really want to play them against the Packers? I don't think so. But give me the Packers all day. Is that it? That's it for this.
I think Steve, you're on mute, I think.
Oh.
Sorry, I had a phone call.
You're good.
We're good now. I feel very bad for Carson Wentz. He is just so mentally defeated. In his career, he has watched his GM just overlook him. He has watched his backup get a statue in front of a stadium in his what would have been MVP season. He's watched a quarterback get taken last year, and this is just a season that's spiraling out of control. The Packers, they're on a roll, arguably the best team in the NFC. Look for Aaron Jones and Devontae Adams to put up monster days, and Aaron Rodgers to keep fighting for that MVP. I mean, he's definitely someone I think is definitely in consideration.
Yeah, the front runners right now, just because Russ is falling off, Murray's kind of falling off a little bit, it's going to be Mahomes and Rodgers.
Yeah.
As simple as that. And with that, we're back to you, Steve.
Okay. A lot of good games here on the docket.
Thank God, because last week was brutal.
Let's go with the Jacksonville Jaguars taking on the Minnesota Vikings, -9.5. And 52 is the over-under here. Again, this is very obvious game if you're going to pick it. The spread is always – this is kind of a trap game. You got to be careful with the spreads because Jacksonville can muster up any last couple-minute garbage time points. Should be an easy win for the Vikings. Should be a big day for Dalvin Cook and Justin Jefferson, who is honestly making a case for Offensive Rookie of the Year. I know Herbert has been the kind of foregone winner, but I think Jefferson might steal it in the end if he keeps up this pace.
Yeah, they'll just give it to a quarterback 'cause that's what they always do. But I like the Vikings to win this game as well. But I would take the Jags plus 9.5 here, just because I feel like they'd keep it close. Like the Jaguars are known this year for playing good against decent teams and keeping it close. Like you saw what they did with Pittsburgh, and they keep,
And with Green Bay.
Correct. They keep games close. So I would take Jaguars plus 9.5. I think they keep it very close. Maybe like a 3 to touchdown win for the Vikings.
And another contributing factor is Kirk Cousins has been playing really well lately. He's going to have to come down to earth eventually. And I think this is that game. Just because it's a trap game. He'll fall into it. He'll get too comfortable. And who knows? Maybe Mike Glennon has a pretty good game. But I still think the Vikings win. But the Jags cover for sure.
What's wrong with Gardner Minshew? Like, is he just
still
hurt?
I think they were trying to tank.
I think they're off him. Yeah.
I
think they were
bear or something.
I think they were trying to tank with Jake Luton. Something happened to him. He got hurt or something, or he just got benched because he just was bad.
Yeah.
And Mike Glennon is the next man up, and they're just still trying to actively get Justin Fields.
Yeah.
So that's that. And we're on to Clark.
Oh, me.
Yes, you.
All right, okay. Justin covered his pick 2 of the teams that are in this call right now, and I'm going to cover the other team that's in this call right now that is also half of us. That's the Colts and the Texans right here. Texans plus 3.5, so they're not favored.
The Colts are the road favorite.
Colts are the road favorite at -3, and I would take that. It's a bounce back game from the Colts with a healthy roster. I called it last week that the Titans would beat the Colts with this depleted roster. I didn't like calling it because I knew it was going to happen once I called the Titans beating the Colts, but it happened. But Colts have their D-line back, Autry's back, Buckner's back, Jonathan Taylor's back. Phillip Rivers is healing from his toe injury. It's all good up in Indy.
We're all getting better. They're all getting better at the right time. But also at the
Yeah.
same time, one thing that the Texans do really well is throw downfield with Deshaun Watson, but they can't run the ball to save their life at all. So if they get forced into a passing down every single down, mistakes could eventually be made. And at the flip side, their defense is just atrocious. They can't stop anything. It's one of the worst in the league. And honestly, the Colts are going to be able to score either a field goal or a touchdown almost every single drive, I think.
A defense without Bradley Roby, who's suspended, and an offense without Will Fuller, who's also suspended too. So
that's the best part.
Yes.
But the problem with this is you never love betting against an elite quarterback. And
true.
We're not betting against Phillip Rivers.
Yeah. Okay.
Phil is elite.
Right.
Phil is elite.
All right. Phil's elite in what? Interceptions?
He's elite. He's elite. He's consistent. He's consistent.
Consistent and elite.
Besides last week, he hasn't thrown a pick in
Okay, we're not having this conversation about Phillip Rivers
same
in
amount
2020.
of elite as Eli Manning or Ben Roethlisberger. Okay,
2 Super Bowl rings beg to differ.
The Chargers. He was on the Chargers. He was on the Chargers.
Wow, I wasn't expecting to have that conversation.
He's elite. He's elite. He's like in Madden, 80 to 89 is elite. He's like an 80.
He's barely on the cusp.
He's barely on the cusp.
He's a bottom 12 quarterback in the NFL.
He's 38. What do you expect?
What do you expect exactly?
Whatever. I'm saying he's elite.
He's elite.
I have heard both of you say Phillip Rivers is not good. Give me Sam Darnold. I pray to get him.
I'd rather have Darnold. Don't get me wrong, but Phil has.
Phil's elite. Why would you want to get rid of an elite quarterback?
The top 25 quarterbacks in the NFL.
There is text proof that I've texted Clark during games. I said, I don't know about you, but I'm having fun. Why don't we bring him back one more year? So, and that was after what game was that? Which one before we got? Yes. No.
What was the Packers?
We got our asses kicked by the Titans. Was the Packers before the Titans?
Yeah.
Yes, that game. I was on all sorts of highs. I was on cloud 45 at that point.
I think the Colts will win this game, but the Texans have
quarterback. Yes,
Texans have the much better quarterback.
Yeah. Sean Watson's the top 5 quarterback in the league.
Exactly. Sure. It's always tough to bet against, but I think people are a little too low on the Colts.
Also, side note,
by the Titans.
Colts don't have their punter, Rigoberto Sanchez. He's out with battling cancer of some sort.
Yeah.
So he got it removed, but surgery's all well. So he's up on the up and up. But that is the second player of my favorite teams that has had cancer in the past year. So 2020 sucks. So let's move things along to me and give me Oh boy. Let's just get it out of the way. Las Vegas Raiders favored by 7.5 over the Jets. Give me this all day. Even though they don't have Jacobs, they don't have Cleveland Farrell, and they don't have Jonathan Abram. Doesn't matter. Vegas Raiders all day.
This just got moved to 9, by the way. Does that change your?
No,
thing
give
at
me
all?
the Raiders still. Jets are the worst team in the league. Adam Gase is an idiot. He's admitted that he literally failed at his one job, which was getting Darnold better. And who cares at this point? They're the Jets. I'll never pick them
Wow.
until they have
Yeah,
Trevor
no,
Lawrence and a
agreed.
new coach. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's not looking very good. The Raiders didn't show up against the Falcons.
Yeah.
I don't know why, because they're not really in a good enough position to just take weeks off. But it felt more like a week off than anything. I don't think the Raiders are actually a bad team, but the Jets definitely are. So
This is a game where the Raiders are gonna try to just get through, and they're not. I am giving the Jets their first win of the season. I wanted to take the Jets for so long now. I wanted to take them against. This is the game. This is the game. They're already down from their loss from the Falcons. They're to throw a pick in the first quarter. They're going to be down the rest of the game. And
Who's catching that pick?
Huh?
Who's catching that pick?
I don't
Ashton
know.
Davis, baby.
Maybe Quinnen Williams will pick one up at the D-line or something.
He's been really good this year. Like, he's been one of the bright spots.
I just wanted to pick the Jets one time. I almost picked them against the Patriots, which they should have won that game.
Like the opposite of like a survivor pool.
Yeah. So I have to get my Jets pick out of there one time. I love the Jets. Jets win, baby. Let's get it.
Listen,
Oof.
I see where you're going with this. Obviously,
Yes.
the Raiders destroyed 41-6 last week.
Yes.
But the Jets are in a whole nother tier of garbage.
That is 100% true.
Jet fans have to hold on a couple more weeks until they get Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence confirming he's coming into the draft, and the Jets don't want to win. They want Trevor Lawrence.
So he did confirm he's coming into the draft.
He said after the
Jets
game,
are winning out then, guarantee. So they're not going to get him. Guarantee the Jets win out.
Justin, I know it's going to upset you as a Clemson.
If I get two
super fan,
Clemson
but
quarterbacks that I've liked in my like past 6 years of liking Clemson, I'd cry if they're both in the South.
well,
That would be painful.
Just move
One's
us
bad
into
enough.
the East or something. Like, we don't belong in the South.
No.
what do you mean it doesn't get much more south than Indy?
Come on, Dallas.
Yeah.
That's in the
No,
East.
come on, that's clearly the East, Justin. What?
Short trip from New York City.
In reality, Pittsburgh should be in the NFC East. It just makes the most sense.
Yes.
I'd be
and
fine with that.
Honestly, yeah.
realistically,
Are you
the Colts
kidding me?
could be.
We
yeah,
might go 16-0 every other year.
Yeah.
We're not realigning the NFL right now. But
Okay.
No, but I
Jets
don't
are
know.
gonna
I
lose.
wanted to change it up. I'm gonna be
Okay.
wrong.
Oh my God, are we still talking about Jets Raiders?
Yeah, we are. We gotta change this. We gotta change this.
Jesse, you're up. Pick a game, please, for the love of God.
So I see here that you have put in New York Giants, Seattle Seahawks -7.5. The spread is moved to -11.
Whoa.
So,
Thanks, CBS.
so I'm gonna take the Giants at that because +11 is a huge spread.
All
And
right.
the Seahawks, while they're good at winning, are not very good at blowing teams out.
And let's just talk about. We'll throw this to Steve real quick because he's our Colt McCoy
Yeah.
expert at this point. Can he
Let's-
keep it close?
Listen, I listened to Colt McCoy yell in the locker room after Alex Smith gets hurt. You guys are in my hands. Don't worry. Meanwhile, Washington loses the rest of the games on the season. So I am not trusting Colt McCoy at all. This is a lost cause. They're going to lose every game that he is the quarterback, especially against the Seattle team.
Which a pulled hammy could be like 2 to 3 weeks. Which, I mean, granted, the East is a disaster, but the Giants are the front runner right now in this train wreck.
I think they're going to win it. I do.
Colt McCoy's 34 years old. Oh my God.
Yeah, that makes me feel old there. But no, I agree with Jesse in this one. I would take the Giants with the spread, but the Seahawks win this one easily. It's just the Giants aren't a bad team.
They're
They've had a lot
they're-
of bad luck. They're a
They're
good
well
football team.
they're well coached with no talent.
Yes.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
right. I agree. No, I agree with that. But yeah, I'm taking the Seahawks to obviously.
Yeah, give me
win.
the Seahawks, but I think the Giants keep it close.
Yeah,
I don't think they blow them out.
I don't
McCoy
trust Colt McCoy that much. I do not trust him that much.
There's one guarantee you can always take though, and that is that a Seattle Seahawks game is always going to be interesting.
Okay.
There's never been a Seahawks game that's not interesting.
That's true.
So
For better
I
or for
wouldn't
worse.
be surprised if somehow like in the start of halftime, like the Seahawks have like 3 points on the board. Like I wouldn't be surprised whatsoever.
Yeah. And with that, we are back to Bologna, right?
Yes. Justin, time to jump through a table, buddy. Buffalo Bills versus
boy.
the San Francisco 49ers.
I was about to say the wrestling podcast is tomorrow.
That's tomorrow.
Niners plus 2.5. 48 is the over-under. I'm taking the under on this one by a lot. This Niners defense held a very high, potent Rams offense to 14 points last week. And this is a Bills defense that is probably just as good, if not top 5 in the entire league. The spread, I think it's going to be another close game. I think the Bills win it by very little, 7 to 3 points. And again, I don't trust Nick Mullins at all. He's just a placeholder for after Jimmy G gets cut this year. And the Bills, they're still fighting for that playoff spot. They're very close to probably clinching at least some kind of spot. The Dolphins are kind of breathing down their neck a bit for the AFC East. But I expect the Bills to have no trouble in this one.
Yeah, the Bills, their defense is going to keep Nick Mullins in check. You know, Nick Mullins, Jimmy G, interchangeable, honestly.
Same thing. Literally the same thing.
Yeah.
Just one's a lot more handsome.
Yeah, and that's Nick
It's a lot
Mullins.
more
But
handsome.
That's Nick Mullins.
and if Josh Allen just doesn't play like an idiot, they could easily, walk away with a win. I still think they win though. Like it's going to be the Bills.
Josh Allen reminds me a lot of like a more mobile Big Ben in a way. Like he could have really, really good passing games and throw for a lot of touchdowns, but will still throw like 2 stupid interceptions. Like that's exactly what he reminds me of. But he's good. I like Josh Allen.
Rivers would never do that.
No,
Rivers can't run.
Well, first Rivers can't
Elite.
run. The second he throws it like he's throwing a shot put, so he can't even like sling it.
It's been 13 weeks at this point, 12 weeks, and I'm trying to still comprehend how his throwing motion works. It just bothers me.
Yeah, it bothers me.
It's a sidearm like throw like in the infield for baseball, and yet he can still chuck it 80 yards downfield.
Weird.
Incomplete though, but he can still get it down there.
Or intercepted. But Josh
Or
Allen
intercepted.
Never connects.
Yeah.
Never connects.
I like the Bills, plain and simple. I like the Bills here. Niners got sort of a lucky win last week. Give me the Bills.
Nice.
Yeah, I agree. And I like them on the spread. I think right now the Bills are actually +1. They're the underdog right now. I think that's crazy. Yeah, I would honestly move the spread to like Bills -2.5, and I would probably just take that.
Yeah.
Honestly.
All right, who's up? Because I don't remember.
I just went.
Okay, Clark, you're up.
Me.
Let's blow through these last few games.
Yeah, there's not much left. Give me the one with the largest spread right now. Just the Chiefs and the Broncos. Chiefs -14. I'm taking that -14.
Do the Broncos have a quarterback?
Yes, Drew Lock is activated off of the COVID list.
Do they have a quarterback? Is still my question.
Answer the question.
No.
Blake Bortles.
They're actually quarantining him.
Oh,
Damn it.
Denver, yeah. Whatever. Chiefs winning this
Chiefs
by
are going
a
to
long
come.
shot.
I would
would
make
just
this
take
20.
the over on just the Chiefs
The
score.
Chiefs could put up. Chiefs could put up like 40.
The thing,
And
the thing
the
that
Broncos get like
worries me is
13.
this is a divisional game, and I feel like for whatever reason the Chiefs are going to keep this closer than it actually needs to be, and then the Broncos are going to like convince themselves this was a moral victory, even though the Chiefs just didn't care for 3 quarters. I don't know. I could easily see the Chiefs just putting up like 24 and then like just skating to the end.
Yeah,
They could be in cruise control.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be. I think the Broncos may keep it close in the first quarter. It's going to be like 7-7 to end the first, and then it's just going to just be downhill from there. Mahomes probably 400+ yards. Tyreek Hill, just another incredible game. It just makes me laugh though that the Broncos, they were like, yeah, we don't have a quarterback. Go out there and play. You have to play. The Ravens, Lamar, I got to push it back. I'm going to push it back.
Need a practice.
That's another rant
like-
for a whole nother day.
It's
But
true though.
Let's
feel
move
bad.
things along to moi. And the game that doesn't really have a spread. It's a pick 'em. Patriots Chargers. So that's what we're gonna do. Pick it. Give me the Chargers.
Patriots.
Chargers.
Young quarterback struggle against
But it's
Bill
in
Belichick.
LA.
I would take. Doesn't matter. I would take I would at the very least. I think the best bet to take, or at least I'm going to take, is the under on Justin Herbert's passing yards. They're around like 270. He could have a bad game.
Yeah.
Interesting.
All right, and let's move things back to Jesse.
All right. Saints Falcons. Saints only favored by 3. I like that. I think even with Taysom Hill at quarterback or whatever they're running, I think there's a much better team than the Falcons. If they're at -3, I'd honestly probably just take the money line because it's probably not that bad. And the Falcons could totally keep it close, but I absolutely do not expect the Falcons to win this game.
Yeah, I don't trust the Falcons at all. They're miserable. They're a mess. The Saints are fine, even with Taysom Hill. He'll do just enough, and they're fine. They're gonna win. Look,
I hate Taysom Hill. Hate him. He has been
he'll
taking
be your quarterback in a few
He's been
years.
taking Alvin Kamara's fantasy points away from him.
Yeah.
That's point number 1. Point number 2, Falcons hit the upset button.
I think Falcons hit the upset button too. I'm with you on that one, Steve. I don't like Taysom Hill either. He doesn't throw slants to Michael Thomas. It sucks. it just sucks. But no, I think the Falcons do good. Falcons should have a lot more wins if they didn't blow those leads. They have arguably one of the best kickers in the league that can hit from anywhere from the 50 going forward. Matt Ryan's not bad at all. They have decent receivers, two of the best duo right there. I like the Falcons. I like them a lot. I'll take them.
All right, and with that, we're back to Bologna.
Oh man,
I
gotta go with. I'm gonna go with Dallas versus Baltimore. Oriole fans, stand up. Okay. I'm going with.
There's a jersey over there.
I'm going with the
and a
Ravens in
flag.
this one. This is a no-brainer for me. Lamar coming back, even though he's been bad all season long. He's had a couple weeks now to look at the tape. Cowboys got embarrassed by Washington. I don't, Justin, I'm assuming there's no numbers up for this one. It says off the board.
Yeah, I couldn't find anything.
I assume so. But the Ravens all day.
Yeah, Ravens all day. Cowboys are a miserable excuse for a football team. Andy Dalton's not going to do anything. They're bad. Mike McCarthy is right up there with that.
He's got to be fired.
Couldn't do it.
Yeah, no, I absolutely couldn't.
Yeah,
but with
whatever.
Yeah, McCarthy needs to get fired. He's just as bad as Adam Gase. The Jets, if it would have been a disaster if either one of them too.
Wow.
But with that, we are on. Did Jesse say anything about this game?
No, but I mean, the spread is Ravens -7.5. By the way,
there you go.
I like that. I would
like
pick
that
the
too.
Ravens to win by 10. Lamar's probably going to run all over the defense. He's not even going to have to throw.
No.
Yep. And Clark finish this one off for us.
What a broad variety of picks I got.
The last game.
You spoke about getting fired, like fittingly in the last one. And that's what happened with the Lions head coach. Matt Patricia's gone. And they're gonna win under their interim head coach and beat the Bears because that's what happens in the NFL. We saw that with the Texans, and Matt Patricia was garbage anyways, and so was Bill O'Brien. So those two are gone. Lions get the win. Bears are god awful. We saw them how bad they were against the Packers, and I'll take the under in this one for sure. Hammer the under.
Give me the Bears, just because they're at least a little more organized than the Lions. Lions, they don't have a coach. It's whoever the
interim head coach. It's Darrell Bevell.
Yeah. Take the Bears.
Yeah,
I'm taking the Lions.
Give me the hard under though on this one.
Interim
under.
head coach. Give me the Lions. Agreed under. Just because we all said under, it's gonna go over. It's gonna be a
because
shootout.
Mitch Trubisky. That's why.
Oh, that's
Mitch
right.
Trubisky's gonna go out throwing dots.
I forgot
I'll
about
take the Lions as well.
Nice.
I don't trust
Nice.
Mitch.
that. And with that, we're done. So Clark,
Done.
wrap it up for us.
Oh, I was about to say what? I was like, what do you want? Yeah,
The
guys.
outro. That's what I want. Damn it.
Okay, I'm sorry. Thank you guys for listening again to this episode of the Department Podcast. That was our week 13 prediction. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Let us know your predictions, or leave us a comment on our YouTube, or slide in our DMs if you want. Just slide in there, give us your predictions and see how they match up against ours. Let me know if you picked the Jets like I picked the Jets. Make sure you guys follow us on our social medias on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Department_Pod. Subscribe on YouTube, Apple Podcast, and Spotify. We have a War Games prediction episode coming up, a War Games reaction episode coming up, probably an NFL breakdown of Week 13. If more stuff with basketball and baseball happen, maybe we'll throw one of those in there too, but nothing with those planned right now. So far, just those 3 episodes planned. So stay tuned to all that fun stuff, and we'll see you in the next episode.